this is News Live on Viewer Television. I am Ekiama Atom. The headlines. Igbo leaders meet President Muhammadu Buhari and demand Nnamdi Kanu's release. The Humanist Association of Nigeria faults the U.S. as the president of the group, Mubarak Bala, spends 19 months in Kanu detention. Plus, U.S. President Joe Biden briefly transfers power to Kamala Harris during health check. Igbo leaders under the aegis of highly respected Igbo greats have appealed to President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure the release of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra's leader, Nnamdi Kanu. The group, led by First Republic parliamentarian and former Minister of Aviation, 93-year-old Mbazulike Amechi, made the appeal during a visit to the State House, Abuja. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, said Buhari, while responding to the Igbo leaders, stated that though the demand was heavy, he would consider it. Buhari said unconditional release of IPOB leader, who is currently standing trial, runs contrary to the doctrine of separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary. Now, the Humanist Association of Nigeria has faulted the United States government for removing Nigeria from the list of countries violating religious freedom, even as its president, Mubarak Bala, has remained in detention for the last 19 months without trial for blasphemy. In a statement by the founder, Humanist Association of Nigeria, Leo Igwe, the group stated that it was appalled by the decision of the U.S. In a statement titled Humanists Outraged by U.S. Removal of Nigeria from Religious Freedom Blacklists, the association said the removal of Nigeria from the list is a betrayal of the humanist community and other minorities that suffer persecutions across the country. The association said the police had refused to release Bala despite a court order. It said by removing Nigeria from the list of violators, the U.S. Department is emboldening fanatics and encouraging the continued oppression and persecution of humanists and other minorities. Now, as the FCT prepare for its 2022 area council election, young male and female aspirants in the Federal Capital Territory have identified finance and insecurity as major obstacles that could impede their victory at the polls. This is a fallout from the outcome of a town hall meeting organized by YAGA, a non-political and non-partisan organization whose aim is to get youth interested in the political decision of the country at all levels, the report. We do sincerely apologize for the audio issues. It will be rectified in our subsequent bulletin. Now, the House of Representatives decried poor funding for the Federal Capital Territory judiciary budget as it concerns appropriations. Chairman, House Committee on FCT Judiciary, Honorable Ifeanyi Moma, made this known during the 2021 performance and 2022 budget proposal of the FCT Judiciary at the National Assembly. Moma, while highlighting the issues faced by the FCT courts, assured the readiness of the committee to wade into areas that are facing deficit. He added that his committee will, in the coming year, go around and inspect project undertaking to ensure adequate execution. Earlier, stakeholders drew the attention of the committee on the policies and programs that were not attended to due to insufficient funds, with over 88 magistrates, 58 High Court judges, as well as 22 directors, plus general staff to cater for. They are hopeful that the issues facing the FCT judiciary will be addressed.
I will implore every one of you to use this opportunity and express yourself in terms of what could be done to enhance budget performance. So please, I would like you to completely express yourselves. So if there are any challenges whatsoever, or any deficits or hiccups or anywhere, so this standing committee, as seated here, can now address it holistically.
Necessary since to afford his welfare is not possible due to lack of fund. Let me use this opportunity to inform the honorable members of this honorable committee. There are some high court judges who are having a car for 6 years without being renewed. For magistrates,
Meanwhile, former President Goodluck Jonathan has called on African nations to harness their diversities and differences for greatness. He made the call at the 2021 Democracy Dialogue with the theme Democracy and the Unity of State, organized by the Foundation in Abuja. Jonathan, who is the founder of the foundation, said that the diversity of African nations had been often misconstrued to be a source of their challenge. Hence, if well harnessed, it will be a source of greatness. The former president said that to win peace in African countries in the continent, it needed to constantly engage in meaningful conversations in order to reach compromise on issues. The federal government has started the payment of 1.6 billion naira to 167,000 women considered to be poor and vulnerable in Jigawa. This is part of government's conditional cash transfer program. Malam Mustafa Yakubu, the Training and Communications Officer, State Cash Transfer Unit, made this known to newsmen on Saturday in Kiyawa, Jigawa State. He spoke after monitoring the exercise at Andasa and Shuwarin villages in Kiyawa local government area. Yakubu said the funds were disbursed to beneficiaries via phone and electronic transfer solutions engaged by the National Cash Transfer Office. He explained that the payment was for the months of May and June and that each beneficiary got 10,000 naira. He expressed satisfaction with the payment but expressed the need for the process to be more ICT savvy. When News Live returns, Nigeria's Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has flagged off the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign aimed at ramping up coverage to at least 50% of eligible target population by 31st of January 2022. Details of this and more comes to you shortly after the break. Just stay tuned. Feel the spirit, feel the rhythm. It is a moment for worship and praise, a time to connect with the Lord. Right here on Gospel Light, I bring to your home screens everything the gospel, from musical countdowns to having your favorite gospel artist right here on the program, and as well reporting any gospel event around your area.
You are the source of my strength. You are the strength of my life. All power belongs to you.
Well, I feel blessed and privileged.
Enquiries for sponsorship for advertisement, do contact us on our email at gospellight.ng@gmail.com. You can as well follow us on our social media platform on Instagram at gospellight.ng, and you can also contact us on 081-3216-1451. Do remain blessed.
This is where we get to have your favorite celebrities sit down, rock our chair for you to get to know them better.
This is something, is not a business that everybody knows.
When you're DJing and you play, there's one song that you can just drop and everybody just like, hey.
So don't panic too much and don't scream, oh, give the ball to me, because most of the time when people do that, as soon as they give it to them, they lose the ball.
Right, because I'm from the north, I'm from Kaduna, so it's something that's been really close to me, and I've known people directly and indirectly that have been affected by it, so it's something I'm really passionate about.
He's been waiting longer than me. Then he started saying, oh, you're not sorry. You best give me my money so I can get out of here, or put me on a flight now.
So, as a businessman, what industry in Nigeria would you say is the most lucrative?
So obviously we can talk about the main ones that everybody knows. Whiskey, Davido.
Watch Celebrity Q&A with Lanzi on Viewer Television, channel 191 on Star Times and channel 2097 on TSTV. Viewer Television, giving you your voice.
Welcome to Top Cuisines. On this episode of Top Cuisines, I'm going to be meeting up with celebrity chef Vera, and we're going to be exploring the world of Nigerian cuisines. Like, you know, Nigeria is blessed with beautiful flavors, beautiful food combinations that have been, you know, discovered over time. Guys, I just had to share this with you. It is to die for. It's not common. It's baked chin chin. It's absolutely amazing. And the yogurt was also very nice, very rich, very thick.
Watch Talk Cuisine on Viewer Television, channel 191 on Star Times and channel 2097 on TSTV. Viewer Television, giving you your voice. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Live and Viewer Television. A quick recap of our top stories. Igbo leaders meet President Muhammadu Buhari and demand Nnamdi Kanu's release. The Humanist Association of Nigeria faults the U.S. as the president of the group, Mubarak Bala, spends 19th month in Kanu detention. And U.S. President Joe Biden briefly transfers power to Kamala Harris during health check. Nigeria's Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has flagged off the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign aimed at ramping up coverage to at least 50% of eligible target population by 31st January 2022. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman, Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, Boss Mustafa, said this while flagging off the national COVID-19 vaccination campaign in Abuja. Mustafa said that the campaign is a continuation of the strategic vaccine rollout plan in line with its national response. The Minister of Health, Dr. Osagie Ehanire, added that the country's aim is to vaccinate 55 million Nigerians by the end of January 2022, which is 50% of its target population. Meanwhile, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shaib, advised states that are yet to flag off or commence mass vaccination to expedite actions towards doing so as they continue the ongoing vaccination.
Federal government, as part of its duties and commitment to the welfare and safety of Nigerians, spared no effort in accessing vaccines which were deployed in strategic manner so that the impact of the virus on all facets of our national life would be minimized. In addition to vaccines donated to our country, huge resources have been committed to ensuring that one, our citizens have access to effective and safe vaccines. Two, awareness was adequately created to ensure that the vaccine hesitancy was minimized. Three, strategy was developed to target the vaccination of at least 70% of our eligible population for herd immunity. Four, infrastructure was developed nationwide to support the supply and delivery chain.
We have enough vaccines, and the assurance of flow of high-quality vaccines from many sources to be certain that we can sustain the campaign to meet the deadline that we have set for ourselves if we all cooperate, if vaccine skepticism is overcome. The Ministry of Health plans to maintain that energy and strive for herd immunity, which we have calculated to be by vaccinating at least 70% of our eligible population. But our preference is to exceed that target of 70%, because the lessons we are learning from observing the developments in other countries.
As we congratulate the Nigerians who have been vaccinated and thus ensured their protection against the severe effects of COVID-19, we are concerned that there are Nigerians who continue to be hesitant, despite the federal government fulfilling its commitment to providing COVID-19 vaccines free of charge to all Nigerians. Field reports, scientific information, and lessons learned from the phase 1 and 2 implementation suggest that we need to ramp up vaccination in order to fast-track Nigeria's social and economic recovery. Mass vaccination is our strategic approach to rapidly increasing the number of fully vaccinated eligible Nigerians.
Now, the spokesman for the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, has been honored with the 2021 Award for Outstanding Legislative Contribution towards improved tuberculosis policy and funding. The award was organized by the Stop TB Partnership Nigeria in collaboration with the World Health Organization, USAID, National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program, among others, in Abuja. While accepting the award, Honorable Kalu says the feat was made possible by the support of a distinguished community of advocates who worked relentlessly to improve the government's response to TB. Kalu assured that the Parliament, under the leadership of the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, is focused on ending TB as it remains a top priority in the legislative agenda for health.
It is therefore my solemn pledge to commit myself steadily to the cause for which we are all gathered here today. Let me declare, everyone in this hall, all the communities that I've seen here from different parts of the work you're doing with regards to this TB issue remains my own immediate constituency. On the floor of the House, when I speak, for my people of Bende Federal Constituency, and I speak for all Nigerians, I also speak for all the organizations such as yours and all caucuses fighting to end TB in Nigeria and the world at large. As the spokesperson of the House, I can assure you that for the Parliament, under the leadership of the Speaker, Representative Femi Gbajabiamila, ending TB remains a top priority in our legislative agenda for health. During the peak and in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, when TB services were massively disrupted, barely a year after our inauguration, we recognized the negative impact of the COVID-19, the negative impact it will have on TB, and based on that, we decided to be more proactive and apply legislative actions and strategic partnerships to mitigate this. We have since then continued to tackle TB through our oversight functions and parliamentary debates.
Israel has reaffirmed its commitment to support the Nigeria-Israel Business Forum initiative to further deepen economic cooperation between the two countries. Yotam Kreman, charged the affairs of Israel to Nigeria, made this known in his address at the NIBF 2021 Annual General Meeting organized in Abuja. Yotam, also acting Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, commended NIBF's contributions in the area of trade cooperation between the two countries. Speaking at the event, Segun Odebumi, Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Information, stressed the need to deepen Israel-Nigeria diplomatic cooperation to achieve more meaningful growth. For his part, the national president of NIBF, Owusi Pat Grace, decried the lack of policy framework towards ensuring due process and business cooperation to have hindered growth in Nigeria.
Nigeria is making huge steps towards where we're hoping to see more and more of the successes coming up. A lot of the experience Israel has with innovation and with startup is slowly being adopted by Nigeria, that is building, with a cooperation with Israel, its own unique, strong, and alive ecosystem of innovation here in the country. So we're expecting to see more companies, both the existing ones in Nigeria and additional ones growing now, to facilitate their businesses and to grow their businesses through the collaborations with Israel.
No nation can stand in an island. There's need for Nigerian government, Nigerian citizens also, to move and join with other countries of the world so that we can work together as a business partner, we can work together as a government official. Already government officials have been working together. Government to government have been working together. But there's need for us, even when the government is driving a kind of technology, they can't drive it alone. They need their own citizens. They need to provide an enabling environment for their citizens to mix with other countries so that they can key into that kind of technologies you are thinking of that you can bring into the country for the benefit of the nations.
There's no solid legislation banning the backdoor movement. Okay? I could go, let me say I go to Israel, discuss fantastic business with them, come into Nigeria, meet the authorities that matters. These are the things we can do with Israel that will go well with us. Immediately I present it to the organization, that's the end. They might call me for a meeting once. They will never call me again. The next thing they go to the organization I've sent out to them to do business and putting me behind.
The Universal Peace Federation, an interfaith organization with all the stakeholders in the education sector, has called for the promotion of peace, character, and moral education in schools. They made the call at a stakeholders preparatory meeting with representatives of the Ministry of Education, Universal Basic Education Board, the National Orientation Agency, amongst others, in Abuja. Reverend George Ogure, sub-regional president of the organization, said the meeting was aimed at positioning teachers and youth leaders to become resource persons in peace and character education. Dr. Garba Abari, Director General, National Orientation Agency, said the agency was concerned about the moral decadence that being experienced in the country. Abari, represented by Theresa Nnalue, Director, Orientation and Behavioral Modification of the agency, added that it was setting up integrity clubs in various secondary schools in the country to curtail the menace. Senator Abu Ibrahim, the organization's Africa chairperson, said it was important to educate youths on the importance of promoting peace and moral values in the country. Dorothy Okwenu, a representative of the National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools in the Federal Capital Territory, added that class placement based on a child's age contributes to character development.
A brief summary of this program is that this is a peace-building project directed at Nigerian youth leaders and educators. It will train teachers and youth leaders to become resource persons in peace and character education in their communities and states. A total of 4,560 persons will be trained. Participants will learn the meaning of character education and come to understand and appreciate its importance for the development of young people's relationships in their family, in their workplaces, and in their communities.
The fall of moral standards has become a bane in the development of Nigeria. The negative impact litters the entire landscape of our national life. Violence has become rampant and corruption has become an everyday occurrence. Money and material well-being are priority goals for millions of people who will easily give up their moral principles for financial gains or authority.
I think this is what we need in this country. We have to start from the primary school up. Because as I've mentioned in my speech, I come from an area that I can see the gradual degradation of the society. Our children, we have to be trained to understand the importance of peace. And I think I'm highly committed now, and I will do everything possible to participate in the program of UPF.
We cannot rule out character development. We cannot separate it from maturity in class placement in schools. We have age ranks for each class placement, but it is not so in Nigeria, and it is quite alarming. The rate at which parents place their children, underage children in schools. And the child's mind is not yet developed to take up these social vices that we are seeing.
Now, Governor Seyi Makinde visited Agodi axis of Ibadan, where a petrol-laden tanker exploded late on Thursday. Governor Makinde, who inspected the scene, told security agents to restore normalcy to the area within 24 hours. The incident had led the Oyo State Road Transport Management Agency to issue a traffic advisory to motorists plying the axis. The Commissioner for Energy, Seun Ashamu, in his brief remarks, stated that his ministry will ensure speedy repairs of the damaged electric poles. Also speaking, Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Abiodun Oni, noted that his ministry will work on the pollution and remedy the situation in the affected areas.
So something definitely has to be done. And we have to have the cooperation of both the drivers and the owners of such vehicles, because we can't keep having this kind of damage.
There's not a lot we can do about the air pollution except for allowing time to take care of that. We cannot stop our business activities from going on. We need to just do more on certifying and making sure that vehicles are roadworthy.
My colleagues have mentioned before, we thank God that we were able to contain and isolate the incident yesterday evening. So the power situation is that it has been isolated, and we will work assiduously to ensure that the cables are back erected and that the poles are back up, so that by the time the road is opened, our light-up project will not be affected. And our marching orders are that we should be back to normal within the next 24 hours.
On my way to pick the next clients, I was passed through this road. Then I saw the truck wanted to get with his pointer that I wanted to get into line. So I slowed down and he got into line. But immediately he brought the edge into line, I saw the fire. So I had to park. The next thing I could see was that the driver was jumping out of the truck and the truck was coming backwards. So I had to just park and run for my day life.
Still in Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde has disclosed that the huge investment of his administration in sports development has begun to yield appreciable returns in the state. Kamande Secondary School emerged winner in 400 meters relay race for girls, and boys as Liberty Academy emerged winner in the mixed category of 400 meters relay race, while Brideville and United Missionary College emerged winners in 4 200 meters for boys and girls respectively, as Kamande Secondary School emerged winner in the mixed category of 4 200 meters relay. Governor Makinde, who was represented by the Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Seun Fakorede, also commended and pledged continuing support to West Midlands Communications owners of Splash FM and Lagelu FM for adding value to societal development through sporting activities, adding that his administration will always support sports initiatives in the state. In their separate remarks, the wife of the founder, Chief Onikepo Akonde, and CEO Atinuke Adetunji unanimously acknowledged that beyond the motive of discovering talents, the Lagelu FM inter-secondary school relay would encourage positive interaction amongst youth and a healthy lifestyle. Also, General Manager Operations Tunde Olawuwo in an address emphasized that the annual competition has contributed to sports development in Oyo State by reviving inter-school sporting competitions.
We are 100% committed to it. I mean, we've invested so much in sports. When we put in investment like that, it is not a waste. You know, we are also expecting returns on this investment. So we are still very resolute on the kind of, returns, that should come, from all these, very lofty investments that we've made.
We are proud to be promoting sports, and this sports will encourage students. It's a means of interaction. We never know who will be the future top sports person in Nigeria.
It has basically revived, the dying, sense of sporting competition at schools level. Don't forget that there's what you call school sport, which is not designed for professionals, but for students who are still studying, but at the same time have potentials. So many of those who have gone on to excel for the nation, whether in athletics or in boxing or in football or in any sports that you can think about, were discovered while in school.
I'm so happy, very happy. We really appreciate them for all their.
Now, the founder and executive chairman of BOA Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, has handed over 150-bed hospital worth 4 billion naira to the Nigerian police in Abuja. Rabiu donated the hospital to the security agency through its Abdul Samad Rabiu Africa initiative. Viewer Television's Ambassador Jesse was there and there tells us more.
Before now, the biggest police hospital there was here in Nigeria was the one in Falamo, Lagos. But right now, all that has changed, as we now have the ASR Police National Reference Hospital right here in Otaku. This is right now the biggest and, of course, the newest.
The hospital, which is to be known as ASR Africa Police National Reference Hospital Abuja, was funded from an annual $100 million ASR Africa Fund for Social Development and Renewal. Speaking at the physical handover of the hospital, Rabiu says what the foundation has done is to simply bring healthcare closer to the people that protect lives and properties in the country and to other Nigerians who would also benefit from the facility.
The police will now be dedicated more in protecting and saving this country, and most Nigerian population will be healthy and will be secured because the police will be guaranteed that if there is any eventuality, their health will be properly looked after, because this hospital will serve as a referral hospital and it will provide almost all needed intervention in healthcare provided.
Managing Director of the ASR initiative, Ubon Udo, in a brief introduction, says the foundation, which is the brainchild of the chairman of BOA Group, Abdul Samad Rabiu, has set aside $100 billion annually to fund interventions in education, health and social development across Africa.
It's part of the ASR security support program. Because, of course, of the difficult job, the dangerous job we know that our police men and women go through, we believe it's befitting for them to have a world-class facility that can provide world-class services and healthcare for not just the men and women of the Nigerian police, but also their families and the people in the immediate community.
After receiving the documents to the facility, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, expressed deep appreciation to the philanthropist, Abdul Samad Isiaka Rabiu.
This is also the dimension of this property clearly mentioned and labeled for description purposes.
I have
received many interventions in different capacities, either as DPO or as area commander or as commissioner of police or as AIG. But I have not remembered, or I can't remember, receiving the one that touched my heart like this one.
Speaking exclusively to Viewer Television, the General Manager Corporate Communications of the BUA Group situates the importance of this largest philanthropic fund in Africa to the corporate essence of the group.
We hope that this will continue. We hope that Nigerians will continue to support the good work that Alhaji Abdul Samad is doing. And we also hope that for those people that we're handing these projects to, they will treat it like it is their personal project. I mean, the projects have been, we've added sustainable impact activities to it. So we ensure that these projects can actually last beyond the lifetime for when we will give it support. So sustainability is key for us, and we hope that these projects will last a lifetime and the third generations yet unborn.
The Tertiary Health Facility, when fully operational, will cater for the health needs of not just the police force, but the general public as a whole. Ambassador Jesse, Viewer Television News.